Ah, it's been too long. Such an odd place to meet, don't you think? You're number 20?
Her name's Leanne.
Your court should have been destroyed. Huh. Someone at the facility must have beaten me to it.
You think this is funny?
Forgive me. So you've chased me all this way?
Not exactly. But if you want to die here, that can be arranged.
If it's a fight you want, you'll have it. I've been looking forward to putting my immortality to the test.
Immortal or not, we'll keep killing you till you're dead.
What's up guys, this is Beer Me Please. I just wanted to show you all my video on how to beat the King of Neverland, Sullivan. I know this fight can be kind of a pain, but using the strategy it should make it pretty easy for you. Basic strategy is you want to keep Rebecca stunned the entire time. You don't want her to be able to make a move at all because she has a really devastating attack. So ideally you have one gunner start up front. I chose to equip my first character with dual machine guns. That's what I prefer. Now ideally, you're going to have your first character at level 100 with machine guns. You also want a secondary character that's level 100 with a machine gun, and your third character should be level 100 with handguns. I actually equipped the handgun character as my second character. The reason you want them to be level 100 is so that they have a guaranteed stun, and that way you can prevent Rebecca from moving the entire fight. Once you get to Sullivan, after you kill Rebecca, you can keep him from moving the entire fight as well. As far as the fight goes, repetition is key. You're going to start with your machine gunner, dual wielding. Go ahead and make sure your charge gauge is charged all the way up to 100%, and then fire away. You have a guaranteed stun because your character will ideally be at level 100. Your second character, the handgunner, is going to come in and obviously do the permanent damage to Rebecca. Your third character, what I chose to do was to start out with first aid while she was still stunned. I had a second. I took an anti-all and applied it to him. You don't necessarily have to do this. I just did it because the first couple times I tried this fight, Sullivan caught up to me once or twice and he can do some pretty devastating damage. So if you're having either the same problem or you just want to be safe about it, go ahead and equip the first aid if she's still stunned and apply it to your characters if you have time. So basically just spend the first part of the fight running away from Sullivan as much as possible and attacking Rebecca, keeping her stunned. Make sure you charge up your charge gauge all the way every single time. And that way she shouldn't ever have a chance to get off that really nasty, devastating attack that she does. Once she's gone, just keep doing the same thing to Sullivan. Stun him over and over. He probably won't ever have a chance to make a move if your characters are at level 100 and you're charging up your gauge. And of course by at level 100 I mean at level 100 with their weapon of choice. This fight is probably going to take you a while. They have a lot of health which also regenerates really fast, so once your machine gunner takes down the scratch damage and then your handgunner comes in, they're already going to be regenerating a lot of that damage. And this is especially noticeable once you get down to the end of their shield. You'll find your handgunner is probably going to need some pretty powerful equips to take off that last part of the shield. Obviously, before you start this fight, you want to equip your best guns possible. You've already gotten some really good handguns just going through Neverland that you can't miss. So I would take the time to go and customize those and then equip them to your handgunner, who is especially going to be important because the amount of damage that they do is permanent and they can help take down those tough shields. As far as your accessory equips, I would definitely go with anything that's going to give you physical damage protection. Don't equip things like the Eagle Eye and the Hawkeye. They're not going to help you in this fight, as well as most boss fights, as bosses are not affected by them. So just go with anything with decent physical and or elemental protection, the best stuff that you have. I will actually admit that throughout this whole game, I used auto trigger as one of my items. For this fight, I really don't recommend that because anything you have that will help protect you from damage is better than having auto trigger that really doesn't do anything as long as you're careful. You just have to make sure that you're not skipping turns because you're not hitting the button before your character lands and before they get to the marker. Overall, this is a pretty simple strategy that I think anybody can do. I really don't think this fight was that bad as far as boss fights go. The biggest threat in this fight was just the sheer amount of damage and all the elemental effects that Sullivan and Rebecca can put on you, especially Sullivan. But if you're doing it right, if you're running away from him, you're not giving them many chances to attack you, you should be okay. The one last thing I want to talk about really quick is the hero gauge. I found that because of all the barriers in this fight, it would have been really difficult to do any kind of try attacks, so I didn't bother with them at all. So for this strategy, you need a decent number of them, which chances are if you've unlocked Neverland, you probably already do, but I just wanted to touch on that really quickly. If you were having trouble with this fight, I hope the video helped, and everybody can unlock the achievement.
Impossible! I've reached the limits of this body.
Good. We're out of ammo.
I see through you. Beyond our petty theories.
What do you see?
Perhaps you understand, Leanne. We will meet again, you and I.
Fine. We'll finish killing you then.
I welcome it.